Optiwise Wealth Advisory has come about because we've understood for a long time that if we're building a strategy around your financial future, self-managed super funds are a key part of, what you have to contribute to super is a key part of what that future and what your retirement looks like. Part of the challenges we've had over the years is finding good accountants, good tax accountants. Not all accountants are the same. Good financial planning advice. Not all planners are the same. And trying to get those pieces together at the same time has been an impossible journey over the years. And what we've got now with Optiwise Wealth Advisory is a place where you can come and get your questions answered and get the advice and the support that you need to help build your wealth, your future in every aspect. So you understand all the things that we do through investor property, and it's that same strategy, that same approach to Optiwise Wealth Advisory. It's really exciting for us. I'm going to introduce you to the two gentlemen driving each side of that now so that you can get a better understanding of what's on offer at Optiwise Wealth Advisory. So clearly, investor property is still there doing all the property sourcing, still helping, but now we're going to introduce you to those other two key aspects. So I'm going to introduce you to Rob now. How long have we known each other, Rob?
Oh, God, I don't know.
It's a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
7 or 8 years, maybe longer.
It could be longer.
Could be 10. I don't know. 1990 was 10 years ago to me.
Seems like it's yesterday. yeah, well.
So one of the things I love about Rob is, so Rob's business, FTA, as an accountant, he speaks human. He makes complex things really easily digestible, and is a brilliant tax accountant. And so we've been referring clients to Rob because he's such a trusted source. And so now Rob is going to be part of what we're doing at Optiwise Wealth Advisory. So I can tell them the story. But what makes you guys different, other than the fact that you speak human?
FTA accountants. What makes us different from everyone else? This is such a hard question. I get asked it all the time. I'm not sure if I've perfected the answer. Because we all sing from the same hymn sheet. So we all read the Australian tax. Well, we don't really read it, but we know because it exists. And so each accounting firm or each accountant that you run across from the tax point of view, we've got a legislation, and when we've got an umpire that comes and says we're doing it right or wrong. So we're all reading from the same playbook. What makes us different is I think we make a personal connection with our clients. And by making the personal connection, you then get to understand what it is that they want. And everyone wants something different. We've got there's a cookie cutter model out there that everyone wants to have $1 million and they all want to retire this, that. That's not true. And you don't find out about what they want until you really dig deep. And it may be not about what they want in business. It's like, well, what do they want for their kids? What do they want? So by having these conversations, some face-to-faces, we think we've developed a style that gets people to open up. And once you open up, then the solutions just come, and you don't have to be that smart to solve someone's problems. You have to be smart to find out what it is that they want. So I think we do that well.
And I think you do that brilliantly. And when it comes to self-managed super funds, particularly in an area where you guys specialise, and the outcomes you create are because in an SMSF, it's really about the members, and they make the decisions. They've got a lot more options, and so they need better help and guidance. Yeah. But it's really quite specific, and so that advice and that guidance, I think, is what key from my point of view as to what sets you apart.
Yeah. Wow.
But what do you see, from the Optiwise Wealth Advisory side? What's important to you, and what are you guys a part of this?
So important with the Optiwise. It's like something new, something different. Someone's out there having a crack, trying to help the people of, the sunny coast, but the world. Who knows how far this can go. And trying to do it in a way that provides a solution that gives a tangible outcome. So this is where we are, this is where we want to be, this is how we get there. And so I believe the Optiwise product, by tying in all your expertise and having all the expertise being able to focus their energy on your outcome, I just can't see why it's not the greatest thing that ever existed.
I love that. So Rob, you've talked in the past around part of the challenge you've had with your clients who are looking to do property through self-managed super fund, getting the right support. What is it about what we're doing here that you love about that?
Okay. So let's talk pre-Optiwise and pre-meeting you, and now we've met at fee. we had plenty of clients who were interested in property. So it kind of the old schoolyard debate is shares or property, and we took the opinion that was probably the last part of any decision an investment person would make, and it was really more about the strategy and the structure, and then what asset classes should we invest in. And so most of my clients were, had the traditional financial planner, and that traditional financial planner said was excluded from the property asset class because they weren't licensed to do it. They didn't understand it. They don't know how it worked. So they just
didn't get paid on it.
Didn't get paid on it. So they ticked the box and put them into a generic, balanced portfolio designed by somebody that neither person probably ever met. And then I met you, and now we've met Afik, and we're really looking now at somebody who's qualified to talk about property, to actually know what they're doing and explain it to people, and then look at it in a holistic point of view and say, this is where we are, this is where we want to go, and this is how we're going to get there. And what person in their right mind would ignore perhaps the best asset performing class of the last, ever. So, whereas traditionally you'd be ruling out property, I think Optiwise has now got a product where we can include that within your overall goals and your financial freedom, and it's just going to work.
Hey everyone, this is Afik Malik. He is an incredible financial planner who has broken the mold, and someone we've been working with for some time before getting involved in Optiwise Wealth Advisory. You're a bit different to the mold. Tell us the story.
So I started off in funds management, and while I was doing that, we were managing anywhere from hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. From then, I wanted to go back to the nitty gritty because I understood people weren't getting the right advice. So those who could afford the high fees were getting high quality advice, whereas your normal average Australian we're getting the worst end of the deal. So we went into part of the business was we expanded into financial planning, and I became the primary financial advisor for the firm. And I've realized two things in Australia. We're a two-sector economy. We run on mining and property. One thing I've realized was a lot of financial planners, they were recommending managed funds, purely because the more you manage under managed funds, the more you get paid. However, I took a different approach, and that approach is what is best for the client, and that should be the best advice for the client. And part of that is ensuring they have a decent property portfolio, as also a managed portfolio, which diversifies the whole portfolio for the client.
So you talked about diversification there. How important is it for diversification when someone's trying to create wealth, especially in the context of what we're talking about in self-managed super funds?
As with all things, never put all your eggs in one basket. So diversification is very, very important. Now, what you want to do is go with what is winning already, and then diversify from there. And in Australia, as we all know, property is the number one asset which all Australians should have or should be invested in. That part should be a big bulk of your investments, and then within that, then you can diversify into other investments, which should supplement your whole portfolio anyway.
So what do you see the benefit to you and to your clients and what you bring as being part of Optiwise Wealth Advisory?
So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a very strong believer in property. What I've seen Optiwise do for my clients is they've not only found them property, they've found them the right property. And that's the value that Optiwise brings to my client. And therefore, I want to reciprocate that and bring value towards Optiwise's client. And that's why the mutual agreement we have to join forces and work together.
So the short version is Optiwise Wealth Advisory is another part of what we do at the Optiwise Property Group with Investor Property. It's about a whole of life approach. It's not about one property. It's not about one piece of the puzzle. It's about how we bring all of those pieces of the puzzle together for a whole of life approach for today, for tomorrow, and for every day that we're walking this journey with you.